Hey everyone, in the last video we have seen how we can containerize our Next.js app. Today we will see how we can containerize our React application using Podman, which is a Docker compatible container engine. So even if you are using Docker, you can follow along. Podman is similar to Docker, but it's daemonless, more secure, and works rootless by default. But don't worry, the commands are almost identical. Now, we will see how we can use Podman to containerize our React application. So first, we'll open our VS Code. Just search VS Code. Now, I'll click on Open and I'll select my works directory. And I'll open a terminal and I'll be using Y to create a React app from scratch. So I'll be using npm create white at latest to create my React app. I'll hit enter. It'll ask my project name. I'll give it as React, and it'll ask what is the framework I want to select. I'll be using React, and I'll be using a TypeScript variant and install with npm and start now. Yes. So as you can see, it is installing the dependencies with the npm, and once the installation is done, it will turn up the server. Yes, it is starting the dev server. So if I click on this link, it will open a URL. So this is the landing page of our React application. Now let's see how we can containerize this entire application using Podman. First, I'll come back to my VS Code. I'll close this development server. Let me zoom a bit. Here, inside React, I'll create a Dockerfile where we'll be defining all our runtime environments that is required for our application. I'll hit enter and I'll create a file. First, I need to import a base image from Node of version 20. I'll be using Alpine. You can use the latest version Node 24, but I'll be using Alpine. And then I will set the work directory as /app. And then I will do a copy command. So I'll copy package star.json into my current work directory. And after that, I'll use run command to install the dependencies. I'll be using npm install. Then once the dependencies are installed, what I'll do is I'll again use copy command and copy all the content of my application, that is source code, into the destination. Then I'll use run command to run or execute npm run build. So this command will build my application. Then I'll use another run command. Here I'll use npm install -g serve. So I'm installing a simple HTTP server to serve my static files. So once this is done, then I'll expose the port as 3000. And what is the command to execute? I'll mention as cmd. And that's a set of commands. So here it will be like serve like -s inside my dist folder, and with command -l with the port 3000. Now what is this dist file and what is this serve file? Now let me move into my directory React. Now when I run npm run build, here you can see the dist file, which is the build file of my React application. So we'll be using that to serve our application. So once this is done, we'll create another file called as .docker ignore. So here in this ignore file, we'll mention what are the files that my Docker container has to ignore when it is copying. So first will be my node modules, then npm debug log, then we'll be ignoring the get, then git ignore, dstore dist, the build file, then dot vs code, then okay, ignore the envs if you're having. I'll use the IDE file. Yes, I think this is more than enough for now. But also, I'll ignore the locks. Now, once this is done, I'll be using Podman to build my image. So let's build our image. So now I'll be using the Podman command, Podman build, and I'll tag my image as React app, and the Dockerfile is present in this current directory, and I'll hit enter. And you can see the image is being built. Let's wait for the image to build. So here you can see the image has been built successfully. Now let me run my Podman image. Now before we run our container, first let's see where is this image. I'll type Podman, and if I come to images, here you can see the React app, the one which we built just now. Now using this image, we'll run our very first React container. So to run the container, again, I'll come back to the terminal. Let me clear this. Now here I'll be using Podman, and I'll specify the ports using -p as a flag. Then in Dockerfile, here we have exposed our ports at 3000. So we'll be exposing at 3000 and 3000. And what is the name of a image? That is React app. Now we'll wait for a container to spin up. So here it is showing that accepting connections at localhost 3000. Now if I come to the browser, if I refresh this, development server is not working. So the port is 5173, the default white port. But instead of that, I'll be using 3000. And here you can see that our React application is running successfully. And if I come to Podman, here I can see the container that is running. If I click on that, I can see the logs. So the same logs which you found in our terminal. So this is how you can containerize a simple React app using Podman. In the next video, we'll see how we can containerize a Vue.js application using White.js. Until then, stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.